4-team NBA All-Star games are not the answer.
Yeah, we're playing offense, but no defense. Oh, there's a little.
It's just not. NBA fans, it's time for some real talk, all right? NFL and college football seasons are over with, and now myself and other sports and gambling lovers like you turn their attention to the hardwood. Sure, the league is making record-breaking money, signing historic NBA deals, and even planning new teams in locations like Seattle and Vegas. But let's be honest, all right? The league, it just doesn't feel the same anymore. Look, I love basketball, okay? I actually really love the game in itself. Not just like the high-flying dunks and the crossovers that make some great TikTok edits. I'm talking about a true fan of the game. From LeBron to Harden to the legends like Oscar Robinson and George Gervin. I love it all, okay? I've spent countless nights and hours betting on player props only to watch some backup bench guy ruin my parlay. And I know I'm not the only guy that feels that way. But more than losing a bet, the NBA is losing its spark. And today, we're going to be breaking down the 5 things that the NBA can do to save itself, fix its product, bring the fans back, and stop the slow decline of the regular season viewership. Trust me, if Adam Silver nails these changes, we may actually enjoy watching NBA basketball again and even enjoy betting on it even more. So let's get into it. First up, we need to leave the analytics behind, okay? I get it. Threes are worth more than twos. And let's be honest, when every possession is a 3-point chuck fest, it's just absolutely boring. Furthermore, there's only one Steph Curry. And while the young guys like LaMelo and Jordan Poole, they added their own unique flair to the 3-point shot, they make it enjoyable. But when every single team is jacking up 43 pointers a game, it just gets old. It gets boring. And that happens real fast. And like a fan like myself, we want variety. The mid-range game, that's dead. Post moves, non-existent. And this video is for true NBA fans, the OG viewers and basketball players. We want post moves. We want mid-range daggers. We want physical battles in the paint. But right now, it just truthfully feels like every single team that we see is playing, they're playing the same style of basketball, and it's not entertaining. We're watching glorified 3-point contests disguised as games. And don't get me wrong, seeing James Harden, Mike D'Antoni, and the Rockets in their prime, I mean, that was something special, right? The way they were just shooting all those threes. Warriors dynasty, just the same. We even saw the Celtics, what they're doing this year in the 3-point barrages. We've seen that this style of play, it's proven. It can win games, it can win championships. But it's not the only style that exists. And I'm afraid many of the franchises and GMs have forgotten that point.
There's been a lot of talk about the NBA product not being as enjoyable because of all the 3-point attempts. From a player's perspective, do you feel the same way?
Well, they can't complain about it now. I mean, analytics kind of took over.
The analytics, the data-obsessed craze and crowd, it just doesn't start and stop with the product that we see on our TV screens. It happens long before that. Look at the drafts. For an example, right? Teams are constantly taking risk on potential prospects instead of proven winners. And to me, it's no different than us placing a 10-leg parlay instead of choosing a proven winner or choosing a proven player who's won in the past. Are there players who have immense upside like Wemby, Cooper Flag, whereas a struggling franchise, you feel like you have to get them? Yeah, most definitely. But some of these players, they draft, come on. They're just 7-point and 6 rebound a game producers that just so happen to have a 7-10 win span. No disrespect to you, Mo Bamba. I'm just saying, bro, you average 12 points a game in college. You just so happen to have a song blow up about your name. But you know who didn't care about the analytics? The 96 Bulls. MJ, Pippen, Rodman, they didn't need spreadsheets to dominate. You know who didn't care about the analytics? The 04 Pistons, who traded mid-season for Rasheed Wallace because he fit their style and brand of basketball, which eventually led them to an NBA championship against an unstoppable Lakers dynasty and another finals appearance a year later, which ended another 7-game thriller. They just played ball. And that's when basketball, at least to me, was at its peak. Let's bring some of that back. Balance the 3-ball with real basketball IQ, and it will make the game so much more enjoyable, easier to watch, and easier to bet up for us as well. And it's not about just watching the game, enjoying it, and betting it. It also helps evolve the game. It also will make room for players who have a different style and a build of play to still be effective in the league today. I think about players like Ben Wallace, Mutombo, Andre Miller, Even Kenyon Martin or Birdman, like they have no room in the modern NBA game. And these were guys who were all big pieces of their team's success, but probably if they were playing today, would have a hard time finding an NBA roster. If we just left all the numbers behind just a little bit, I bet we would see that the game would go a little bit further. Now, next, we've got to talk about accountability. And I'm talking specifically to the players. And I love y'all. But listen, man, you got to play the dang games.
But then I guess the players say they need a rest. I don't know. You hate it.
I hate it. I dislike it. We want to play every single game. We couldn't wait to get out there on the court. It's about your ego, your passion, your love for the game. It's about those fans who, like you said, paid their hard-earned money to watch you play this game of basketball.
Load management, it's killing the league. Imagine spending hundreds on tickets, only to find out that your favorite star, Paul George, Zion Williamson, they're sitting out. Why? Because they're chilling. They're doing what I'm doing right now. They're rested. And you know what? Truthfully, fans, we deserve better. And it's not just the regular season. I'm talking all-star games as well. These have just become glorified shoot-arounds. Half the league skips the international tournaments. It's just so unserious. Like, you see the passion that the international fans and players have. Where's ours at? And when you look at a player such as Embiid that a city has literally been waiting patiently, trusted the process for, and 10 years later you realize that he's missed just as many games as he's played, it's kind of hard as a fan to get excited about an 82-game season, let alone want to bet on them consistently. Like, don't get me wrong. If a player's injured, he should rest, take the proper time to rest, recover, be able to come back strong. But I also know that sometimes, like, the injury report doesn't tell us everything. There's also the players are never 100% in the season. And I get it. They're playing through all types of injuries. They're professionals that we don't know about. And I understand that. But regardless, it's quite simple. If you're healthy, show up. And if you're not, spend the money, the time, the energy, the effort, the rehab, and get healthy. That is a part of being a professional. Like, I don't get this whole sitting out on back-to-backs. Coach, manage the minutes of your stars. And then look at the greats. MJ, he played 82 games a season in 9 of the 15 seasons in his career. Kobe played through broken fingers. We have the most advanced technology and medicinal practices. But for some reason, it seems like our stars are playing less and less. And you know what's so funny? The kids nowadays, right? They love to say that the old school players were going against
plumbers and firemen.
There we go.
Well, at least the plumbers show up to work. What do you got to say to that? And speaking of holding people accountable, I need you guys to do that real quick. Is this a fashion no-go? Which one's more of a fashion no-go? Wearing a hat with 2 different logos or wearing a shirt underneath a jersey? Drop in the comments below, because I know there's some people who tuned into this video and was like, what the hell does he have on? Because trust me, I would have did the same thing. We've got 2 solutions down. Hopefully you guys give me a solution to my wardrobe here. Now let's go to the third one. And I feel like this has certainly gotten bad, especially in our larger and bigger markets. And that is the cost to be a fan nowadays. It's insane.
It's expensive to watch games now. It used to be free.
Tickets, they're ridiculous. $250 for nosebleeds in a popular stadium when it's a nice big game. Nah, I'm straight. I'll watch at home. League Pass is expensive and it's blacked out in half the country. Like, why am I paying $80-something a month for YouTube TV and I cannot even see my local team? And then don't get me even started on these streaming services. Remember when their promotion was like cheaper than cable or whatever they were talking about? Nowadays, like my boy lives in Alabama. He's blacked out in the Atlanta market, the Memphis market, and I think the Orlando market, because he's in like South Alabama. Like, what is he supposed to do? Like, what is he supposed to watch? At this point, I get a price increase email from these services every 6 months. It's like, who remembers when this thing was like $20? Now it's like $100. And don't even get me started on merch. $120 for a jersey that's going to be outdated when the team changes sponsors and their logo next season, or they trade away their fan favorite stars like Luka and Jimmy. If the NBA wants fans back, make it affordable. Imagine betting on games without feeling like you've already lost money just because you're buying access to watch. Lower the costs, get more fans, you'll see the league grow again. It's simple. This is a basketball problem in general. The game used to be free to play at your local park. You can get some real hoops in against some real players and some real competition. Now to really play ball, you have to pay crazy AAU enrollment fees, get a private trainer, pay for a membership to some place with a gym, and Lord knows the charter school, boarding school shit, like, it's ridiculous. And it starts at the top. It starts with the NBA and it works its way down. And I hate to be this guy here But let's also talk about the refs.
He was the one guy giving Brunson some trouble.
Knicks lead by 6. We got a whistle and a double dribble.
They're too involved, and it's ruining the game. Technical fouls for clapping too hard. 5-minute reviews over a block charge call. Nobody's tuning in to watch the refs dominate the spotlight. Fans, bettors, we want fast, exciting games. We don't want whistle parades. And the last seconds of a game, no joke, literally takes like 90 minutes.
And says I'm too old for this.
Like, all right, maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, but I get we need to make sure that the call is right. But for the love of God and for my sleep schedule, speed this thing up at the end of games. The solution? It's simple. Keep it simple. Let players show emotion. Limit reviews to 30 seconds max. And for the love of all things holy, stop deciding games with ticky-tack foul in the final minute. Let them play. Part of this is on the players too, okay? With the foul baiting. We literally saw Embiid the other day pass up on a wide open game-winning three-pointer that he had, trying to flop his way to the free throw line, and he cost his team the game because he turned over the ball. So it's on both sides. But if it was up to me, unless it's intentional, obvious, or like a flagrant, we don't need fouls in the last minute. If you're a hooper, go get you a bucket. That's what we need, all right? Like all this extra stuff with the refs, all the fouls, just quit it. And if you've made it this far in the video and you're agreeing with some of the things that I'm saying, just smash that like button for me and share with some of your other basketball friends and, sub to the channel because we have videos dropping like this all the time. Because tell me I'm tripping in the comments. But are these like viable options to make basketball and the game of the NBA better? Because I don't know what else to do out there, but their solution needs to happen. And I've given you guys 4 things, and I got one more for you. And I know you might think I'm crazy, but let them fight.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Look, I'm not saying that we need on full-on hockey brawls, though that would be entertaining.
Another one second later. Now in the center of the...
But the NBA has just gotten way too soft. I'm talking Charmin after some bad Mexican soft, all right? Defenders can't breathe on a player without getting whistled. They can't show emotion on a posterizing, rim-rocking dunk without getting a technical. Talk a little smack without a little shove, without an ejection. Now we got a big old fight. It's ridiculous, okay? Now, I know there were games in the 80s and 90s that may have been excessive in force, right, with the fouls. But who here really thinks that hurt the game? Like, let me know. And I know I'm not the only person watching this who literally used to type in NBA fights on YouTube and just sit there and watch the compilations. You know what my favorite part of those videos were? Not just to see the haymakers or the right-hand hooks and see people get hit. It was the superstars who weren't backing down. Charles Barkley throwing the ball off of like Shaq's head. Larry Bird and Dr. J getting in a Jada and Will entanglement. Doug Christie clipping Kobe with the elbow. Like, come on, man. They weren't backing down for the superstars. Like, you know what the thing is? The media loves to talk about the passionate fan bases like the Pistons in Detroit. But you know where do you think that comes from? Where do you think that love and that hope was fostered and bred? It came because they knew a 5-foot Isaiah Thomas wasn't backing down from a 6'6" Mike and Magic, but also had Lambeer and Mahone who had his back. Like, that's what it's about. That's how you get the... I'm fired up right now. There's a reason why the UFC is the fastest growing sport in this country. The Super Bowl is the most watched event. Why the Roman Empire had the gladiators. It's a part of the game. It's a part of being an athlete and a pro. The fire, the passion, and frankly, the blood. And where's the creativity when there's no physicality, if we're being honest? Think about John Moran, for example. We love his athleticism. We see what he does game in, game out. But he's creative and he's fearless. But put John in the Jordan era, and he would have even a crazier highlights, ways of being able to score against real defense. Context creates creativity, and creativity creates greatness, and greatness drives viewership. You see how that formula works? So let's bring back some physicality. Let these guys play defense a little bit, rough it up, and I promise you, you're going to see the competition heat up, and so will the rating. So there you have it. 5 ways that the NBA can fix itself and bring the fans back. Leave the analytics behind. Hold these players more accountable, and they're getting paid these hundreds of millions of dollars. Let's hold them to it. Make the games affordable for the regular fans, cut down on the refs' involvement, and let athletes and boys do what they do. And that's be competitive. Let them fight. Let them get fired up. But what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. What changes do you think that the NBA needs to help them improve this brand and help it make it more enjoyable? And if you're betting on games and you're like, man, this is just getting so frustrating because it's just such a hard product to watch, and I get it. And the season runs from November through July, and there's times where it's just NBA on, so we got to do it anyway. So we need to find a way to make this thing better so we can all enjoy it, all right? Best of luck out there. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and let me know what you guys think. And as always, dictate your fate, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, guys.